Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, my name's Michael.
My name's Cleve.
Welcome back to an exciting episode of Friendship.
Pretty.
What the podcast that dares to ask, who's your player two?
I think it's always John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo is primo choice.
Yeah. He's
You know, here's... Hey
he doesn't
guys.
get enough credit, but then he does shit like The Pest.
Hi guys.
You know what I mean? Like, I know you liked it because you like bad things, but The Pest is a rough watch.
I did not like The Pest. Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I liked
Well,
John Leguizamo in
You're
Spawn.
finally on the right side of history.
I liked him in Spawn.
Okay, yeah.
I liked him in Romeo plus Juliet, which I know it gets shit on. I don't know, whatever.
You can just say Romeo and Juliet, but yeah, I like the movie
That's
too.
how they designate the difference, though, is by saying plus instead of and. That's how
I'm
you
not gonna do
designate that that's the Leonardo DiCaprio version of it. And then also Tu Wong Fu, I Hardly Knew You. And then there's more to the title, I just can't remember it. Him, Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, Crossdress? There's another one.
I forgot that's even the title. I
Yeah.
thought it was something a lot simpler.
Nope. But at one point in time, he calls someone his knight in shining pickup truck. And for a long time in high school, that's what my girlfriend called me because she liked that movie. Anyways, guys, we're talking fucking Super Mario Brothers movie today. As two giant,
it just came out.
As two giant fans of the Super Mario world in general, and our kids, it's seeped into our kids. Cleve's kid is clearing levels left and right on Mario Maker. My kid's out here playing Odyssey and having birthday parties, and everything's Mario here right now.
I haven't got a chance to talk. He's involved in Mario Party right now.
Oh, nice. How's that going?
And you know, it's an unforgiving game.
You know, we've been playing Mario Kart a lot with her. She played Mario Kart 8 with Katie, and I think Katie found joy in beating my daughter because I beat her usually.
You do have to set the tone.
Just shut him down right out.
You never
gate.
beat Daddy. Look at that. And then I bought the Mario Deluxe game, which annoys me because I owned it on the other one, and now I own it on this one. And you know how I feel about that.
I
I don't
know
like
you
buying
feel
the same
about
game twice.
that. That's fair. I won't do it, so I get it. I'm like, Katie, go get your Switch now. But anyway, yeah, we're talking the 1993 box office bomb that is the Super Mario Brothers movie. I will say, much like every other movie, I said to Cleve, I have a copy of that, and he's like, find it. I couldn't find it. I spent an hour looking for it, couldn't find it. Then I started watching the movie, and my wife like just walks in with it, and she's like, "Hey, this is what you're looking for?"
Where did she find it? The one place she didn't look?
There was a box upstairs.
Oh.
That I just didn't know we had moved to DVDs upstairs. All of them.
Is the other movie in there too?
I don't know. I haven't looked. The Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't get to look. Yeah. I'm sure it is. If that was in there, then it's got to be. It's along with Ghost Dog. It's all my prized possessions must be in that box that she had opened. That being said, Cleve and I have always stood at polar opposites.
I have a box of $5s in here.
Cleve and I have always stood. Hey, Ghost Dog is stupid expensive for some reason. Just saying.
So wild to me. Continue. Sorry.
Cleve and I have always stood on polar opposites as far as this movie is concerned, and I think I've grown wildly famous on this channel for being the person that, for some reason, defends the awful.
Very much so.
I think that...
And chastising the good.
Not all good, but I do chastise some. I do call out things that I think are overrated. We still stand on the same spots, guys. I still love this movie. Cleve does not. Cleve and I were the prime demographic for this movie. The issue is, I think, that it was two different people's visions plus the video game creator's vision, and they didn't know which way to go with it, right? Like, for some reason, the directors wanted to make an adult movie, and by adult, I just mean more mature, like rated PG-13-ish movie.
Yeah.
For a more mature mind. And the production studio and the video game people were like, you guys, this is a video game, like, let's peddle this to the children that already exist.
Right. So, I don't know, because my understanding is Nintendo didn't have a lot to do with
didn't.
this.
They
They were just like, just make a movie.
Yeah.
We
No, they
believe in
didn't.
you.
They didn't. They regretted a lot not being more involved. They sort of applauded in the nicest way possible that, hey, they put some effort into it, good job, but this inevitably it resulted in the canning of the Metroid movie that was being set into production. I think everything I've ever read or heard from Bob Hoskins, who is the most outspoken person about this movie, John Leguizamo too. John Leguizamo has also often said, this movie was horrible. I hated making this movie. I had to be drunk to make it. Which is why Bob Hoskins gets hurt. And so did John. But I think that Bob Hoskins' complaints every time are with the wife and husband producers. Or directors.
The directors, yeah. The tag team directors.
Yeah, they were apparently miserable to work with.
But you know what? My understanding is that it was the whole cast and crew. The whole cast and crew felt
Hated
the same
them,
way. It was just Bob that was like,
oh, well,
Bob Hoskins, you can fucking suck off. And there's nothing. What are you gonna do to me?
I've done things, bitches.
And what's crazy about it is he was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Uh-huh.
This man did a movie where he spoke to just open air.
He almost didn't do this, by the way. He didn't want to do it.
This one?
Yeah.
Or Roger?
No, this one, because he had just done Roger Rabbit. He didn't want to be typecasted into kids' roles.
Yeah.
And so he's like, no.
But
and they just kept berating him with more and more scripts. Like, hey, what about this script? No, I don't like this. Hey, what about this script? No, I don't like this. And eventually they gave him a script. He's like, all right, I can do it.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Well, maybe that's what led to the more adulty side of it.
Maybe it's partly on him, and he's not willing to admit that. And he didn't know that Super Mario was a character, or was it was a video game. His son had to tell him this. And to this day,
I think he was like on it until.
Yeah, until like one day his kid was like, "Hey, what are you working on?" And he's like, "Oh, Mario Brothers movie." And he's like, "Oh," and then he showed him the game, and he's like, "This is what you're doing." His son to this day still defends that role, and says, while it may not have been liked as much as it should have, he said, it wasn't liked as much as they had hoped it was going to be, that he felt that it was still an iconic role that he played, regardless it meant something to the world, even if it was bad.
He wasn't my problem.
No, Bob Hoskins, no.
John Leguizamo was not my problem.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper was a little bit.
Okay, so this is something I didn't recognize. Okay, we'll get into a lot of it, but one of the things I didn't recognize is a small, like, thing that I don't know as a kid I would have noticed. Good on Dennis Hopper for constantly trying to walk around like a dinosaur. At all times, he had his hands here. Like, he'd be talking, and this is how he
came from the T-Rex.
Yeah, he'd sit there and talk like this, and I'm like, what is he doing? And I'm like, oh, he's like, this is his normal. And it really got me. I was like, this is good.
There's so many funny things on him, because apparently this was supposed to be like 5 weeks worth of shooting, and he was there for 17 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that because we're talking about something that's beaten to the ground. But the quote about him and his son.
Oh, how his son didn't want to play Bowser, and he
was like, "Why did you do this?" His son was 6 when he did it, and he was 18 when he asked this question. He was like, well, "Why did you do it?" And he was like, "Because you needed shoes." And he goes, "I didn't need shoes that bad."
That's ungrateful is what that is. But
that's the opposite side of Bob's kid. Yeah. But you know what? I mean, he might be.
Hey, he got paid for the movie.
He might be what I like the least.
Dennis Hopper?
Yeah.
I agree. Um. Okay.
He was just a like a business tycoon guy. Like it wasn't even. I don't know. I don't know. I know
I
we didn't have
didn't
a lot
like.
to go off of,
So and
but
that's where I was gonna go with. So I think he gives too much of a pedo vibe. Like it just. I mean, I know
well,
Daisy's technically of age, but like it was the
do you mean you know what
what
they
is the
say
difference?
about little
Was
girls?
yeah, was the little
They never
girl
forget
was
the
yeah.
time they
Thank you.
kissed by a lizard.
Thank
Is that
you.
what you
Yes,
mean?
that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ah,
So Cleve and I watched two different versions. Like I said, I tried to find this. I tried to find my movie, could not find it. What I finally found was an unedited version with 30 extra minutes of additional footage.
poor
The
man.
other thing, interesting. So the other thing I think I noticed, and I'm going to ask you because it's been a while since I've watched my DVD of it, probably like 5 years. Throughout the entire
That's
movie,
too recent. That's too recent to have
throughout
watched
the
this movie.
entire movie, do you ever remember hearing any Mario music? Music specifically, not sound effects.
No,
Okay.
I think at the very beginning you might get a little bit.
So in this version, there's some in the beginning, but then there's also during the celebration scene, like when he's on the boots and they're flying together,
Mhm.
you hear some like celebratory, but it's Mario music. And then when they're like going back to get to the portal, you
Mhm.
hear the like flag music, but it's done in like kind of a nice melodic like tune as they're walking down the.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Those two scenes,
Wouldn't have made
I
anything to you.
was, I
Yeah,
was. Well, I at that point I was pretty ready for the movie to be
he
over.
does.
I
Okay.
was because I had to watch it on YouTube's, and it was like
Yeah, that's rough.
5 minute clips, and I'm like, what scene? 10 out of 22. Okay, I'm I'm almost there.
Um. Okay, so wildly misliked. Nobody likes it. It's been regarded
It's
as it's a cult classic to an extent because
now, yeah.
there is a bubble of people that exist like me. They're like I liked the movie.
Well, so I feel like there's the people that liked the movie as it is. They're like, I remember when I watched it as a kid and it was so,
Fair.
but like not like reviewing the movie. They're just like, it was so
They
good
remember from what they
when
remember.
I watched it.
That's fair.
And then there's the people that I feel like appreciate how bad it is and what they tried to
Which
do.
which is fair as well. That's and then there's me who keeps watching it and keeps swearing it's a good movie.
You know what's funny? I feel like when I watched this time, I was like, oh, like I'm being like Bob and John's their like chemistry and they're hanging out and talking. I'm like, I'm liking
I love
a
them
lot of
together.
like how this flows.
Yeah.
Like they really feel like they're brothers,
And then
and
they get
it's
into
good acting. And then they go through The Rock, and I'm like, this is where it changes. It hits
Koopa Town is rough. Or Mushroom Kingdom is rough.
uh Dino Hat
Dino Hatton. So, and there's
because
only
we
one time they
obviously
call it Mushroom Kingdom.
we obviously named it Manhattan because of man that lives there.
So, okay,
And so it's Dino Hat.
another part you missed. In the beginning of the movie, there was a clip that they cut out, and it's of Bowser in Manhattan for some reason, somehow. Like he's chasing, he's trying to get the mom, right? He's trying to get
Okay.
the crystal, Daisy's
Mm-hmm.
mom, and he's
Mm-hmm.
admiring the architecture there, which
Mm.
explains why he
It looks
modeled
like it
his city
does.
after New York.
And you know what? I guess when you think about it, when you're playing the games, his world is always kind of, well, I don't say always. And Super Mario World, I believe specifically, it was kind of city-ish
Which that is the
compared to the
last.
rest of.
Yeah, that is the last game that came out. Well, Mario Paint. It came out in '92, but Super Mario World or Brothers, yeah, no, Super Mario World would have been the last game that came out. And you're right, when you go in, even into that castle or into that cave, you can see like the shiny lights, kind of like Vegas kind of feel to it. Okay, so There's so much hate for this movie, and I think a lot of it is that. A lot of them, everybody hates Dino Hatton. Because before that, it's just the brothers together. There is not a lot of source material.
Mhm.
Not only is there not a lot of source material, but everything is in 8-bit at the time, or 16-bit at the time, at best. I think that they
mean-
were overzealous, obviously, but how do you make a Goomba look intimidating to a grown human being? And because I think that's one of the biggest complaints is Goombas. Everybody always complains about
Fair,
the way the Goombas
because
look.
they're rough to
they are
look at.
they're
That's
terrifying, right? They're terrifying looking.
They could have just been dinosaurs for me. Like,
That's fair, but then I think that they would have
will that cost
not
too
been
much?
able to distinguish. Well, I think they wouldn't have been able to distinguish the difference between that and Yoshi, which they did create as just a dinosaur.
We didn't need to do Yoshi.
They had 9 different puppets for Yoshi. It
Like
was apparently
200
like a really
200 feet of cable.
Yeah, it was like a really well done puppet.
He looks the best.
He does.
Out of everything in that,
They didn't CGI
fucking
him, is
world.
why.
yeah, he looks the best. However,
Didn't need him.
he did try to eat a woman.
Fan service. He did use his tongue to try to eat a woman.
Yeah, he did.
Um,
At first, because I can't remember. I watched the last time I watched it was more than 5 years. I was like, does he eat this woman? I don't know, because it's supposed to be a kids movie, but then it's not, right? Because John was almost out to kill him, and then Bob's like, no, I'm gonna break every bone in the body, and then I'm gonna kill him. Was I saying that when I was little? I don't even know now.
The things we watched as kids, right? I almost wish, and I think it's probably good they didn't, but I almost wish more things were at least based off of or in likeness to other items. Like, it was cool to see, like, the Bullet Bill, even though it didn't make sense. Or calling the shoes the Thwompa Stompas. I would have preferred it to be something else. I don't know. That could have explained their super jump. Because every once in a while, Mario's got a super crazy jump.
I thought the whole point of the boots was just so they have a super jump.
Yeah, they're called Thwompa Stompas. So they're just supposed to, hey, look, we're called Thwompas for the Thwomps. But you had the Bob-ombs, which is the only true kind of representation.
I will say, I love the Bob-omb reaction from everybody. That's great to me. I think that when it was like, fuck, we gotta go. the man crashed. Well, ready to crash his whole car about it. Like, that was probably after the city the only
part that you enjoyed. I know a lot of people don't like Toad. I don't know what we expected to do when every other person in the Dino Hatton or Mushroom Kingdom is a normal person. We couldn't make Toad look like Toad.
I guess. Then why is everybody just a normal person? You know what I mean?
Fair. So
why didn't we just
that's got to be
go all
budget.
in for Toads?
Right. No, I get where you're coming from.
You can get a paper mache hat or something.
Fair. But it would have.
Or they could have been beanies. I would have bought that
would have been kind of funny. If
I'd
they
been
all
like,
been
oh,
wearing
look.
mushroom beanies, as in support for the Mushroom Kingdom and the Mushroom King.
Yeah.
That okay. That would have been
because
cool.
I think you said you like him. I like him.
Yeah.
But I liked nothing about him.
Fair.
We're a musician. I don't really know why. Maybe it's when Toad is Toad is Toad is Toad is Toad, right? They're all the same. Maybe we're thinking of one Toad, but this is its own Toad, which fine. He's a musician.
That could be.
This Toad pedals for change. Fine.
So that's actually a really good point because the cops, when they pull up, are who call him Toad. Nobody else ever calls him Toad.
That's the only indication that you get. And it makes me think for this movie, how long could you watch it? If we changed all the names, how long could you watch it before you were like, oh, this is inspired by Mario?
I've seen a lot
it takes me till the costumes. Before I'm like,
which is 66 minutes in, by the way, like an hour and 10 minutes in. But no, that's interesting. So it's a derogatory statement. It's not that his name is Toad, but more that the insurrectionists, so the people that support the Mushroom King, is a Toad.
Gotcha.
Because toadstool, mushrooms, they're in support of the Mushroom King. I could be super on board with that, and suddenly all of them are Toads, and then they're wearing the little toadstool hat. that's how you know that they're
I
a part of
hated his
the.
haircut too. I don't know if that was
I think they were trying to
whose
make it
choice
look
that
different.
was.
I don't know.
I guess to differentiate him because his scaly little voodoo head version also had it.
So what I will tell you that I
But then they
did
give him a
not.
harmonica, so then I
Right.
don't need the little head swirly thing because every time he breathes, I have pram, pram, pram.
So one thing I really didn't like, and you'll be happy that I don't like something. Um, Normally, in fact, in Dungeons and Dragons, I complimented the costumes in the area. But if
Mm.
you decided to go with humanoid people, like everybody's humanoid, the characters,
Mm-hmm.
it upset me or annoyed me that every once in a while we would have reptilian people. That didn't make sense.
Yeah.
No part of that made sense for there to be reptilians.
What's weird is that we ate reptiles too,
We did.
as in little hot dog buns. Like it. I don't think. I think that we went about it wrong. I think that everyone that and just trying to shine this up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that everyone who worked for Koopa should have been reptile based
Uh-huh.
and nobody else. So the cops, sure. Because the de-evolve thing, like it doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
It only services to me to make him look like Bowser in the clown car at the end,
Yeah.
and to make the King Fungus, which was undone
Magically, but
by-
not the other
because we had to wrap shit up. And the Toad was stuck as a fucking simpleton.
Poor Toad.
Why do we do it? Why do we? That's what I'm saying. It speaks to nobody there knew
What they wanted.
anything about video games
Yeah,
or the game.
that's fair. I think that's very true. I think that the only source material they had would have been had they rigorously played the game, and they obviously didn't.
Or like, I mean, maybe if like a Nintendo assistant just kind of like went over the games with them, maybe I could.
It would have been nice for them to just write a
reminds me of-
story, be like, "Hey, this is what we this would
Yeah.
go along the line."
Or maybe like, here's the story of the first game. Here's the story of the second game. Here's just as much of a story as there was.
What's kind of cool is that Daisy was not a character
Right.
in the games before this.
Right.
Did she become a character because of this? We don't see Peach,
I wondered.
and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I
I
don't-
liked his lady. I don't remember her name though.
It's not Pauline, which I thought it was going to be. Because I would have thought that would have been an interesting random reach back. In Odyssey, you go to the normal New York City.
Yeah.
Well, it's not called New York City, whatever it's called. And you meet this lady, and she's like kind of the...
That'd have been cool.
Yeah. But it wasn't.
Was it Angelica?
No.
Was it? There's so many people listed, but this was so long ago.
If you
Lena?
said,
It wasn't Lena.
No. If you said her name, I'd...
Daniela?
No.
She didn't have a picture, so it's not old lady. Yeah, that fucking old lady.
Fucking that old lady.
That old lady was wild. You ain't got a weapon. And then you know what? How you know how she's unhinged is that she fell into a car and just started tasing them people.
She sure did.
Everybody's going down. Let me see if I can find this lady's name.
I was wrong. Maybe it is Daniela.
Oh, this one says prostitute. I don't remember prostitute
it was
being.
Daniela.
There was a prostitute in the movie?
Yeah, there's lots of prostitutes in the movie.
And Shigeru Miyamoto was in it? Was he?
At the very
He
end.
didn't have a...
The very end. At the very, very end of the movie, after the credits, Iggy and Spike are
failed.
approached to create a movie about their
that's
experiences.
I have a quote from Miyamoto. I don't know if you saw it.
Probably not.
Well, when we first initiated talks about a Super Mario movie, I try to emphasize the point that the Mario Bros. Games are fun as video games, and if we are going to make a Mario Bros. Movie, that movie should be entertaining as a movie, not a translation of the video game. I think that they tried very hard, and in the end, it was a very fun project that they put a lot of effort into. The one thing that I still have some regrets about is that the movie may have tried to get a little too close to what the Mario Bros. Video games were. And in that sense, it became a movie that was about a video game rather than an entertaining movie in and of itself. And what that tells me is that Miyamoto never saw this movie.
I think what he's trying to say is that the two artsy people tried to interpret it. He's trying to be his nice self and
Oh, yeah.
But like, no,
Or
I agree. I think that two people got a hold of something and tried to make it bigger than what it was. Tried to interpret something and make a world out of a place that may not necessarily have been as serious as they wanted to make it.
Blade Runner, Gotham,
Yeah.
like
So the new one's out and it's going to be more fun. It's going to be because it's cartoon, first of all, digitalized, animated, and it's just got. We now are in a world where that is supported. We are excited for this. It's not a couple 100,000 people that are like, "Oh, look, there's a movie coming out about a video game." This is like a international, like, going to be a box office smash because people want this, because the MCUs and the nerdy Dungeons and Dragons, like, those worlds are successful now. Video gaming is common. It's not, a subsection of people. It's everybody plays or knows video games now.
I don't know how successful it was money wise.
Not.
And I hear what you're not this movie, but I hear what you're saying. But Mortal Kombat came out in '95. And I remember going to see that in theaters. And I remember
how exciting it was.
Goofballs up and down the hallways trying to fucking run up the wall. Like in anticipation for this movie.
Mortal Kombat might be different. Only because there's so much gratuitous violence in that. You know what I mean? Like, this is, you have martial arts to lean on in that, as opposed. I mean, even Mortal Kombat 2, like Annihilation, when they tried to lean into more of the fantasy side of it, it did horribly. When they turned a man into a dragon.
Right, but not because we could barely get all the cast back and nobody really gave a shit about it.
That might be part of it, but don't worry. But I hear what you're saying. I think, well, and that's the thing, is that I think that's just it. They shot too far. They shot for the moon on Mario. They saw an interpretation in their mind that they could create, and they're like, people are just going to love it. They're going to eat this up. And then it didn't. They also sound like miserable fucking human beings.
I hear what you're saying about the Goomba, but I just don't understand that design.
How do you? But you okay? So like that's what I'm saying. Other than making them dinosaurs, which also wouldn't make sense because really they're mean-looking mushrooms. So I don't know. I don't know how to describe a Goomba.
But at that point, we've given up on that look.
Right? No, agreed. No, I know. I'm just saying, like, how do you make a Goomba look intimidating? And that's what they went with. I don't agree with it, but I don't think it's the wrong choice. It was just not a good choice.
No, I mean, it's the wrong choice. But
to go along with the story that they had created, those make sense.
That's also the wrong choice. I don't think everyone should have been dino related.
I agree. I think you're right. I think in hindsight, I think that yes, you're right. I think we should have split them up and made it fungi people and dinosaur people, and all the dinos are Koopas.
So the Daisy's the dinosaur and the fucking King's the dinosaur, but then why did he become a fungus? Like, it doesn't. Had he been of different origin, like the Mushroom Kingdom, it would have made sense for him to turn into a mushroom fungus thing. But then maybe that would have explained the evolving toad and having him become a mushroom thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could have just been a fucking hat. Like, it could have just been a helmet that looked like Juggernaut on his head, and he just tiptoed around.
I want him to be a giant beefy monster like Juggernaut.
Yeah, and then they couldn't talk, and then some of them had slender heads.
Oh yeah, something like snakes.
Yeah,
It was fun.
what are we doing? What are we just having
It
fun?
was good. It was good. There was.
I mean, props to props to what it is and how it looks, but I don't want it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
You can appreciate the
It's an
what it looked
achievement.
like, right? Yeah, but you didn't want that.
I can't just make a costume that looks like that.
It's like if you were to ask for a birthday cake and someone showed up with like a nice casserole, and you're like, "This is a tasty casserole, but I wanted a cake, so thank you
Yeah.
for making that. Please see your way out
Yum
the door.
yum.
Go.
I'll
Please leave."
eat that later. Yeah, I don't want it now. I want the cake now. Thank you, though.
I'm so annoyed
Yeah.
because I remember there was one thing I was like, I'm gonna hold on to this because it really annoyed me, and I cannot remember what it is now.
It's not fucking Yoshi getting stabbed in the side and having the princess. I don't think you're supposed to pull out knives like that.
You should not.
You're just gushes
But
blood,
we don't know
right?
dinosaurs, so
Yeah, that's fair.
I
The intro. I think from the intro you kind of lose me. That 16-bit New York dinosaurs. Yo, it's a great. This guy's so good. Like, what? Why do we go this route? Were New York accents all the way back then?
there was a scene. What? Because so they always show Bowser like constantly sanitizing. At one
Yeah.
point, he's dipping his hand in paraffin wax. Like he's always doing something to
Yeah.
try to clean his hands. And so they don't ever explain it, but it's because he doesn't want fungus.
I mean, I guess you kind of get that with everybody having to be
Fungi or whatever, yeah.
yeah.
But when he de-evolves Toad, he brings the machine back, sends Toad off, and the guy that operated, or like that pulled the thing down on Toad, sneezes. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so." Then Bowser's like, "Are you okay? Like, you sound sick. Like, sit down. Take a second." And he sits down in the chair. He goes, "Lock." He goes, "Can't have sick people. Bye." And fucking sends it back and turns him into ooze. He de-evolves him so much he becomes primordial ooze. Instead,
That was your scene. That was not our scene.
no. I understand that. It's just
Okay.
my scene.
Okay.
So that's why it comes up. Is it then comes back, and when he comes back, because they didn't add the graphics to it, because you're just looking at uncut, like unedited stuff. So he just falls forward, and all of a sudden he leans forward, and then ooze just like he vomits it basically. And then Bowser slips on it, which that's where you guys come into.
I remember
when he just
seeing
randomly
that.
is slipping, and you're like, "What the
I
fuck
remember
is he
seeing that
slipping
going,
on?"
what the fuck is that on the ground? Did someone shit their
Yes.
pants?
That's what it is.
God
And so-
damn it.
I'm just like there's just random things that would happen, and I'm like, God, like that made more sense. Like, oh, okay, I get it now.
That frustrates me more. That is
right,
what
the
you
things
gave
that are-
us.
yeah.
You definitely cut out the wrong things. You know what I did need? Bob fucking motorboating Bertha for whatever reason. We could have cut that out.
I don't necessarily understand the whole Big Bertha. Like, so Big Bertha is what the Big Cheap Cheap used to be called. The Cheap
The
Cheeps are
big
the little
fish
tiny
that swallowed
red,
you,
yeah.
the spiked one.
Yeah. And so that was Big Bertha. And that's what we made. But I don't understand it.
Don't get me wrong. Sexy woman. She does great. She has her great appeal.
Yeah, but
But-
like she saved them kind of from the old lady.
And then she
But
kisses
then
him.
kissed him and then left, and then Yeah, I didn't understand the sexual tension there. I didn't understand why we were. I appreciated everybody doing a line dance that was dinosaur themed.
Yeah,
I
I
really
was fine
liked
with that.
that.
There's just line dances everywhere. We super zoomed in on that woman's breasts a lot.
Well, yeah, you know, when you have them, you zoom in on
Yeah,
them.
it ain't tricking if you got it. I understand, but
Yeah.
like, we're still doing Super Mario Bros. Right? Like,
That lies the issue. I think. Again, I really like this movie. It just happened to pique my fantasy of like this satiated the need I needed. I don't think it's a great representation of Mario Brothers now. I think this new one that's come out today is a better representation of that.
you
But
know what really bothered me was something that just super bothered me, and I don't know why. When they go to the club scene,
oh, I remember my thing.
Luigi has on the red suit and Mario has on a yellow suit with gloves.
Yeah,
Why
it
does
was a
it come
missed
with
opportunity.
gloves?
I don't know. It was a missed
You know what I was
opportunity for
thinking of?
sure.
What I thought we could do if someone knew the game for 5 minutes, it could have been the white with a hint of red and the white with a hint of green, like the fire flowers,
Yeah,
and anything else
anything.
besides
Yeah,
mustard and ketchup, fucking
it was
suits,
weird. I didn't.
and the gloves. Why did he have gloves? It didn't make any sense.
Uh,
Oh, because he broke his fucking finger.
yeah, that's true.
That makes
That's
sense.
probably what it was. God damn
I forgot.
it.
Bob Hoskins literally broke his finger
John
on
Leguizamo is
set.
the one that did it. Slammed
I thought
the.
it was like
No, he slammed the
I thought it
door
was
on his
like when they
hand.
were driving.
Yeah, he slammed
Oh,
it.
that sucks.
It was John's fault, and John's like, Bob immediately started cursing profusely at me, and then immediately was like, "It's good. It's not your fault. Just keep going." Um,
That's how I know that the directors were in the wrong.
right,
When you have people like that.
right.
Also, John Leguizamo had just the best skin back then, didn't he?
I,
He's older
I
now,
just love
right?
the
And
guy. They had a scene where he was just shirtless, and I'm like, you just knew you had him, and you're like, get the shirt off, boy. Yeah.
he was a good looking dude. I mean, he's still he is current or he was hosting the Daily Show for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Still a good looking guy. Still got that fucking little half crooked smile when he talks and shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, I get it.
I like
I get it.
I remember my thing that annoyed me through the whole movie.
Okay.
And I understand why we had to do it. Because it was the only way that we could really make this make sense. But when Bowser said, push the plumber button, and then the whole town proceeded to know that they hated plumbers, and we had to find the plumbers, didn't make sense. That's a sequel move. That's a drop in the sequel.
Right.
We don't know what the plumbers are, first of all.
It
They
would have
shouldn't
been
know.
funny if they were like plumber, but also their building had pipes, so they have to know
Right.
a little bit maybe about plumbers.
Plumbing, yeah.
Why did
similar.
was there besides the super 90s frozen pipes? Was there a reason that we made it colder?
He wanted to freeze them out. He thought it would distract them because it would freeze them. I mean, technically, they're
Did it
lizards,
come up again
so like
besides
that would make them more docile, but they never ever talk about it.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I missed something. Maybe you got an extra scene.
No, but there
You
is
got some behind the
more.
scenes
There is
stuff.
some more footage of them in the elevator with the Goombas. If you wanted to watch him dance with more Goombas,
I didn't hate that. I get it. They're
it's
dumb.
fine. I liked the movie. There are things I think are wrong. Is it the best movie that's ever come out? No. Is it the top 10 best movies of video game movies? No. And I don't think there's 10 game movies out. I might be willing to put the Uncharted game
There's
movie
10
above
game
it.
movies.
But like
Oh.
when it came, I know. But when it came out,
Because of your crush with Tom Holland, or what? But that was
when
so
it
high.
came out, it was trying to do something nobody had done. And to this day, I can still see things that I think you're right. I think maybe it's John and Bob's chemistry that maybe really pulls me into it because I really like them together. I think Bob does an amazing Mario. I think
He's a
here's
fantastic Mario,
he.
and
You know
that
what?
mustache is top tier prestige mustache.
Perfect. You know, here's the thing. In a world where we have people like Chris Pratt saying "fuck you," I'm gonna kind of do my voice. Seem like Bob
Says Rogan, yeah.
Hoskins. Yeah, he's and Seth Rogen to the extreme was like, "Fuck you, this is my voice." Chris Pratt puts on kind of an accent, but not much. But like, Bob sounds like what I want Mario to be. He sounds like Mario to me in a real world. And John is not as whiny as Luigi would be, but he plays the part of a younger brother so well in that dynamic that I really like it. Like, we could have had John Leguizamo play like fucking Mario and or Luigi, and Luigi's like a mansion, like a haunted mansion one, and it would have been fucking hilarious.
You know what I think? Because I think they're cast very well. I think
Except for Dennis Hopper or Dennis.
I was gonna
Hopper.
say I think that they're cast very well. I was gonna say most, but I don't think. I think we could do better on several fronts. I don't think Daisy was bad, but I don't think she was great. I think she was good at playing. You know,
What she was.
I have a job in archaeology, and that makes me weird, which is a weird stance, but that's that's the '90s. But it was almost like Luigi was the star in this. I know they were very good at being
Fair.
at like it's a duo. They were very good at it. But Luigi was the one that was like, trust me, I know what I'm doing. Just I got a
What's wrong
feeling
every time,
about
though?
this. I mean,
Except for the mushroom.
the wall was right.
Oh yeah. There's
Also,
a couple times
was
where
there an extra scene about him getting hooked on that fucking crane thing? Did he just not feel that happened?
No, there was no extra. Yeah, there was no extra to that.
Cool. Okay. Anyway, keep going.
There was multiple times when they were driving. There were like random scenes cut out where he's like, "Turn here, I got a good feeling." The stupid video channel he watches was like, if you go down, some guy drove down a random alleyway and then ended up in China. And Hoskins is like, what the fuck are you talking about? Multiple times he'd be like, trust me, just go this way. Or when they were driving the police car, trust me, go this way. And like, it would be wrong.
If he was wrong every time, I think that would have been very on Luigi brand.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like I think in the very beginning, he's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I just got a real good feeling about this alley." I'm like, that's funny to me. I enjoyed that. I think that there was more time spent on the accuracy of plumbing than there was Mario Brothers.
That's fair. You know what? Someone came up to the directors and was like, hey, so they're brothers, they're Italian, and they're plumbers. And they're like, fuck, do we have a story for you guys?
You just call a plumber. I don't actually have a job where you would look.
Bob Hoskins
Can you
was a
tell me
plumber for
all
3
these-
weeks.
Can you tell me all these tools? It felt like it. He felt like a fucking plumber.
He was a plumber's apprentice for 3 weeks and set to the plumber that he was an apprentice for his shoe on fire on accident. Was
How do you do
fired.
that plumbing?
I don't fuck. I don't know. No, I think I agree with you. I think that if we had to say, I think Luigi is where the story is the protagonist of the story. It's driven by him. Mario's there and it's great. In the world of Dungeons and Dragons, he is the Mario is Snails.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's
I would
just
say
the
that.
he's the buddy.
Even though everything else should be like John Leguizamo playing the Snails character,
Right.
like
Well,
it's everything, but we just gave him the love story.
mhm,
We gave him the quick on his feet,
mhm.
like
And
all of that.
I think the reason we did that is because there's less known about Luigi than there is about Mario, so they felt they had more liberty with Luigi's character.
Maybe.
Like, we know now that Luigi's kind of a dork and he gets kind of silly sometimes. But
You
then
saw-
we would have.
Right. You saw In the Heights, right?
Uh-huh.
Doesn't Anthony Ramos, the dude that runs the store, doesn't he give you like the same Luigi vibe
Yeah.
now? Like
Yeah,
just
that's
that
a really
same
good
kind of kid.
comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, man, like I was watching it. I'm like, I feel like it's this exact guy trying to talk to this girl.
Yeah.
He doesn't really got it, but he's got, there is some confidence there, and he's still trying to find his way to it. Like,
Yeah, I think that's a really good comparison. And if we were to make this exact movie again, we could easily cast him in. You think he'd be on board?
yes.
Um,
Also, why did the dinosaurs evolve into people? And then why is
don't
their
ask
fashion
questions.
different
Well, because they're
or better?
dinosaurs.
Is their fashion better than ours?
You didn't like any of their fashion.
Mind some of the suits. Bertha was a lot. For you to walk around like that all the time, because like the time you're at the club makes perfect sense. But like you weren't even at the club the one time, you were just going to the store.
Fun fact about the club scene: most of the people there, or the women there, that were dancing, all strippers.
Cool. Cool.
They
Hang
really
your hat
just
on
hired
that.
strippers and said, "Hey, come in. We need you to dance for a little bit." In the end, guys, I think that
I was gonna
this
say, is there
movie-
anything else you want to start? We already spent. I expect this to be like 15 minutes. Is there anything else you feel like you need to talk about, get it off your chest?
In the end, guys, I think that this movie was overambitious, but I appreciated it for what it was.
That was that was nice of you to say. Why did dinosaurs evolve into people, but we still lay eggs?
Why are there still little tiny dinosaurs walking around?
How do you get the egg out?
Maybe there's a person inside the egg. You don't know.
I mean, there is a person inside the egg. It was
Well,
Daisy, but
in fairness, when they were defunging them,
Hmm.
the only thing that they shot the spray into was his crotch. So maybe they got like dino parts down there.
Mm.
And so,
Okay.
egg laying bits.
Who sabotages a work site in your company clothes?
It's the Scapellis.
At one point, that guy goes, "They'll do anything for publicity." Blow up the Twin Towers? Is that what they're doing for publicity? Also, creepy foreshadowing. But I feel like everybody
Yeah.
puts it the Twin Towers.
They did.
Um,
It's a weird feeling every time I see them on like film,
I
like
don't know.
old
I
film and
just-
stuff. Yeah.
it hits you.
Yeah, it does.
Do you think that the wall jump, the rock through thingy, do you think that inspired kind of Mario 64's wall painting jumps?
I would love to think so.
Let's see. There's a scene where a man just rides his bike over a rail. Nobody's chasing him. Nothing's happening. He just fucking goes off. I don't know if he's just tired of Koopa's rain, but he just rides on the side.
I encourage everybody to watch this film again and only pay attention to the background characters because shit is always happening when they're in the city.
The front desk cop is getting a shoulder massage by a woman's heel.
He was.
Um,
That sure did happen.
there's a point where I can't remember Bowser's woman's name, but she comes
Lena.
in and she's like Princess Daisy, and one of the girls goes, "Princess Daisy, this is getting weird. Just fucking now for you, it's getting weird."
Not to mention, they've been talking about a princess this whole time, and they all know her name is Daisy. So, like, is it that weird?
The square root of 26,481 is not 191.
Yeah, it's 30,000, right? Like 32,000. It's to 3 if you
Doesn't matter. It's not what they said.
No, I know, no. So it's funny because it's 3 instead. The first digit should be a 3, so they just missaid their line, and we didn't catch it, and we just left it in.
I'd high five you, but then I'd be an only child. I just love their banter back and forth. It's one of like the few things to put down. Angie, that was his lady's name. Dumbass fucking friend that yelled Mario. Like just such an annoying scene to me. I enjoy Dennis Hopper. I didn't enjoy a lot of what he did.
No.
The the three times we brought up the pizza, and I don't know why that was funny to me, but it was. He ordered the pizza, which didn't even sound like a pizza order, but
No.
whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go past that because we're in a world where different things are
Yeah.
different.
Fair.
And then at one point he's like he should be thirsty, but he's not. Where's my pizza? And then he's like doing his big speech, and they're like, "Hey, your pizza's here," and he's like, "Fucking not now."
I'm so sad. There's a cutout
What?
scene.
Oh my god, tell me
bro,
about it.
there's a
Please.
cutout scene.
I'm so glad I didn't just let this
Oh
end.
my god. So he's he gets turned into goo, right?
Mhm.
And the pizza boy drives over his goo and says, "Here's your pizza," and throws it in the fucking ooze.
Oh, never mind. I guess that makes sense to cut. You can't leave that. If you're running over on time, you can't leave that fucking literal throwaway joke in there.
It was perfect because it just kept the joke just kept coming back, and then he did that. And I'm like, that was the ending I needed for that saga of pizza.
I said that I love the bombs, but why at the bottom of its feet did it fucking say Reebok? I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't. That's fantastic.
One of the little dogs was like yipping in its sleep.
I did not notice that. I did notice that its feet were sticky for some reason, and I don't understand that. But I'm gonna say the fungus helped it.
I just assumed that's how they work and fine, whatever. But yeah, when it's on the bottom little crate, you see it. It says Reebok and it has a little symbol, and I'm like, what are we doing?
They paid some money for it. Let them have it.
Yeah.
What I wouldn't give to have
so weird.
what I wouldn't give to have a bomb right now with a little Reebok shoes on.
I mean, they sell the little bombs at like Family Dollar. I assume the end fight was the Super Mario World where he's like in the clown car thingy. I talked about
Yeah.
that. The King returned for no fucking reason. I talked about that.
Yeah.
I don't believe that there was a scene with Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi, and I just wish at the end they were like, I know I've seen a lot of shit. What the fuck is that? When he walked up, like, look out, Daisy, fucking dinosaur behind you. Or it could have been big enough bit to ride. Maybe it was supposed to be big enough for the sequel. The balls on this movie to put out and be like, "There's a sequel. Don't worry, it's coming." Cliffhanger.
I didn't like the cliffhanger. Like, I get it that it was a cliffhanger, but I needed a little bit more meat to it to be a cliffhanger. You're not
You'll
gonna
never
believe it.
You're not gonna
Yeah,
believe
you're never
it.
gonna believe it. That didn't do it for me.
You
It
know
could've-
why? Because they don't know what they're riding.
Right,
Right.
that's fair. I appreciate it.
You want them to have a heads up for the next story? They were working on this story.
I liked the Iggy and Spike were Iggy and Spike.
Yeah, that's
Thank
fine.
you.
I'm good with that. Nintendo didn't do another movie until Detective Pikachu. So, say what you will about the movie, it had.
Oh, it
had
definitely deterred them.
influence.
100%. Like I said, they had a Metroid movie that was in production, like ready to go. Like they wanted to start filming.
We almost had a Danny DeVito Mario, a Tom Hanks Luigi.
That one I did see. And you know why they didn't? They turned him down? Do you know why?
Because Turner and Hooch and
Yeah.
something else didn't do well.
Turner Hooch
And
and
then-
Joe vs. the Volcano did not do well. So they
Do you know what his movies were after that?
Forrest Gump got to be close to that because it was 97, wasn't it?
And then this movie came out in '93,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he did Sleepless in Seattle,
Mm.
A League of Their Own,
Ugh.
Forrest Gump,
Yikes.
Apollo 13,
Ugh.
Toy Story,
Oh no.
That Thing You Do,
Ugh,
Saving
that one's-
Private Ryan.
Ugh.
Like, but also he might not have had that career
Can you imagine?
had he done fucking
Oh
Mario.
my god. Can we get a Bob Hoskins Forrest Gump?
What a different world we could have. Why would Bob Hoskins have gotten it? That's not how that works. You don't switch the actors. If anything, John Leguizamo should have gotten Forrest Gump. And then for Bowser, it was almost Michael Keaton, which I can imagine he was like,
The fuck is
Fuck
this?
and good old Arnold was almost Bowser.
Oh my god, that could have been good. I could have been on board.
Of course you could have, because you're okay with him being Mr. Freeze. So why
That
wouldn't
would
you
have
have
been
been
interesting.
a good Bowser? Um. Also, apparently, I want to go look it up. Apparently, there is a web comic that is like a continuation of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was supposed to be
I,
the lead into it. Never got the comic didn't get finished. It was going to be led
fall on
into
somewhere.
the second movie.
Someone finished it. Of course, there's someone who loved it enough to go out there. Someone who loved it and had talent that could go and finish it. Because, I could talk it up to Moon all day and be like, "Are you gonna do the comic?" Well, I got an idea for someone. No one else to do.
What do you feel about? I'm gonna ask you one more thing. You got any more things on your list?
No, I've everything that I
Huh?
felt like should be yelled at about this movie I've done.
But you didn't talk about the mushroom growing so that it could repel the de-evolution ray, and then
I just at that point accepted my world over then.
so there's
That
a
was weird.
There's a there's a cut scene that when they're merging the two worlds,
Mhm.
Goombas are just starting to appear randomly everywhere, and like
Okay.
one appears in a fucking like a porta potty, and like his head and his body is like broken through the top, and he's just like looking around
Okay.
stuck, and then some girl
That would've been
opens the
funny.
door and runs out screaming.
That would have been funny to
Yeah,
see.
yeah, it was solid. They're just randomly all over the place. It was good. I liked it.
What does that have to do with the mushroom?
That right after that's when the mushroom scene happened.
Oh,
was
okay.
Sorry, I was just thinking.
I thought you were going to give me more information about the mushroom. I was very excited to learn what I didn't understand.
Before I,
You know what would have been cool?
Huh.
Is if, because Mario Bros. 2 came out before this. Well, I guess she didn't have a parachute or her little signature umbrella. Would have been cool if Daisy could have used the mushroom, like she would have jumped and then it like, and then it would have made sense that she carries it around and whatnot. But that's just someone who knows a little bit about the game. Could be, I could have extra hindsight because I don't know when that was kind of like paired up with her, or Peach. Peach and the umbrella kind of being paired together.
I don't think until later, but maybe I'm wrong.
Does Mario leave Angie to be with Peach? Is that what was going to happen in the second
I just
one?
assumed
Because they were making dinner.
Well, I assumed at some point he was gonna joke about like his nickname for her was Peach, like "Oh, you're my little Peach" or something like that, and they would have been like, "Ah."
Maybe they asked Mario to be the king, and then she becomes Princess Peach. I don't know.
Yeah, because only men, guys, suck it.
Sorry, I don't make the rules.
If you've made it this far into the episode, you guys get to find out that there's a scene that's cut out with Iggy and Spike rapping at the Boom Boom Bar, and it's them rapping about turning over or like trying to revolutionize against Bowser, which is why Bowser then punishes them for insurrection. But none of that's ever seen, so you guys will hear that on the going out credits, I think.
I was very confused on, like, Lena was like, they're trying to overthrow you. And I was like, fuck, they were just at the club. They didn't do anything because they were having a drink.
Yeah.
Also,
no drinks.
I didn't enjoy her much.
No, Lena.
Like, at all. And I get that she was, here's why I think it's weird that we didn't enjoy her very much, because she was just a completely original added character. She wasn't supposed to be anything. So why is she written? Not great. The little head shaky thing, all right, cool, fine. You're all lizards, got it. And then
you missed. There's a whole extra scene where she's getting in the mud bath with them, and it was terrible.
She gets fully electric, and she's like, "What? All right, I'm out of here." And then she gets thrown against the wall, and old John Leguizamo, well, she makes an impression. Oh!
Alright, guys, let us know what you guys thought about the movie down below in the comments. Also, if you've already seen the new one, let us know what you thought about that one.
Is it better than this one?
Was it
Did
better
they fail
than this
again?
One? Probably not.
How funny would it be if they failed? You would not. It would not be in our lifetime that you would get another Mario movie.
Ever. They have a whole land built after it, guys. There's no way. Anyways, guys, let us know what you thought down below in the comments. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. We got episodes coming out every week. If you guys are listening to us, know that we are on YouTube. Come like our channel and hit the little notification button. We come out with episodes every week. We also do more stuff on our YouTube than we do on just the podcast, where we have lots of videos that Cleve comes up with for our gaming and different Pokemon cards and stuff like that. So if that interests you, you can find those there. You guys can find us on all social medias under Friendship Supreme, except for Twitter. Twitter just has no eyes in Friendship Supreme because all eyes should be on us. We also play games, so if you want to come hang out with us and watch us play some video games and give us your thoughts on the latest episode, feel free to join us at twitch.tv/Friendship Supreme. I've been Michael.
This is Cleve.
Cleve, you know what I love about mud?
What's that, Michael?
It's clean and dirty at the same time.
You ever get the feeling you're on automatic pilot? You're going through the motions like waves in the ocean?
That life is a series of brainless notions, and you want to feel something more than empty emotions.
When we met two plumbers,
Who had an idea?
they showed us the light.
And the new frontier.
Mario
And Luigi.
they know what's right.
We gotta take a stand and put up a fight.
Well, stop and
Think
think
this
this through.
through.
It's time to get rid of
you know who? A radical development is taking place.
Iggy
And Spike will set the pace. Koopa.
The party pooper.
The Poopa Scoopa.
It's a crying shame. We're playing his game.
He's got us so tame, it really is
lame.
lame.
We're all so dumb being under his thumb.
Be proud reptilians, we number in the millions.
Look at these Goombas.
Shutting us down.
The rule of force
is the rule of this clown.
Koopa.
The party pooper.